Hi, I'm Britt Sutton, President and CEO of ArtMix. First, we want to thank you for joining us for our online curriculum for the summer. We know these are trying times, and this is a little bit different than our normal summer programming. However, we hope that you will continue to enjoy creating from your own home.
Hello, my name is Chad Campbell. I am a teaching artist with ArtMix, and today we are going to be teaching you how to make a tree out of wire. Here are a couple examples that I have made previously. On this particular tree, I chose to use the brown wire with some green to create some leaves. This one over here is more of a winter tree, maybe a dead tree without the leaves. Now to start, we are going to need about 8 foot of your trunk wire, which I am using brown today. We will need about 6 foot of your leaf color, which I'm using green today. I have another example right here where I used white and a white and orange leaf. So you can use your imagination. They don't have to be real natural colors. You can make them any colors you want. The tools we will need today are a basic ruler and a pair of pliers. Needle nose pliers are best. These have a cutter so we can cut the wire. We have our materials and our tools laid out here and ready to go, so let's get started. First, we are going to need 12 pieces of the trunk or the brown wire here that range between 6 and 9 inches. These will need to be random sizes because that's how trees work. They're not all uniform. The way I start this is I cut my first one at 9 inches. Cut a second one at 6 inches. I have my first two. Now I can move the ruler out of the way, and I can kind of cut these randomly. All of them need to be between these two sizes of wire. It's not real important to keep it exactly 12, but that's what we're going to use today. You can use more if you want a bigger tree, fewer if you want a smaller tree. After you do your first one, you can kind of play around and come up with some of your own techniques. So now, we need to make sure all of the wires are level on one side. You see this here? They're all level there. We look at this other side. They're kind of random, just like a tree would be. Now, we're going to measure about 1.5 inches from the end. And I'm going to pinch it right there at that 1.5 inch mark. And now I'm going to twist. We're going to make about a 2.5 inch trunk. Alright. We need to stop before we get to the smaller branches. And we've got the start of a nice little trunk here. Now, the roots are going to be our stand. These are what's going to keep this upright. So we need to divide this into 3 roots. So we will divide this into 3 groups of 4 wires. I use 3 feet because it'll always stand level. Now we want to twist these in the same direction that we're twisting the trunk. If you twist it the opposite way, it'll start unwrapping the trunk. So now we have our basic roots there, and I like to just put a little bit of a loop in the end, just so it's not bare wires out there. Give it something a little bit to set on. Not too much. You don't want to take away the length of these legs, or it may topple over. So now we have roots, we have a trunk. Now we start making our branches. We're going to separate these branches up here into groups of 3. We're going to have 4 branches altogether that branch off into smaller branches. We're going to twist these together. Now we twisted up to the shortest of these 3 branches, so we'll kind of just bring that out, make a small branch, continue twisting these together. Once we get up here a little ways, we're going to make another little branch here, and then this one's going to go toward the sky. See that? That's what trees do. So let's continue to separate these into groups of 3. Trunks come in and twist it a little bit. It's not a problem. We can twist that right back up. Alright, so I'm going to twist these together here. Remember, trees are not symmetrical, they are not perfect, so it doesn't matter if we make a few mistakes here. We can always bend it back into place. Then I'm going to have this nice tall one coming right up the middle. See that there? I'm going to separate 3 branches off of this. Twist those just a little more. Spread out those roots. Get all these branches kind of going upward like a real tree. Now we've got us a basic little leafless tree here. Now if you prefer that type of tree, we can leave it. When I do that type, I usually like to use a few more branches. That way you get a little more area there. You can make a little bit bigger tree if you use more pieces of wire. That's up to you. Alright, so this one we're going to continue on, and we're going to go ahead and make some leaves. Okay, so we have our basic tree finished here. We have the trunk and the branches. See how twisting it makes it almost look real. I like to put a few bends in the trunks. You don't find very many trees with a straight trunk, so this gives a little more realism to the project. Now we're going to bend loops in the end of these branches. Just a half loop, leave it open, so we will pinch those closed on the leaves. You will understand in a moment here. We're just going to make a little loop on the end. We need to have this long enough to make a loop in the end without making too short of a branch. Now we are going to make the leaves. So I have already cut these, but you will need 4 pieces of the leaf wire. I'm using green here, that are about 18 inches long, about 1.5 feet. I'm going to use the handle of my pliers here to wrap these. These are going to be your leaves. Alright, there we go. I take it off the pliers. Now on each end I am going to make a little open loop. Make another little open loop over here. Now I'm going to connect these 2 loops. I usually use my fingers first to kind of pinch those in so they'll stay. And now I'm going to pinch them with my needle nose pliers to make sure they stay together. Now we're going to just kind of twist this a little bit, make a neat little shape. So I'm going to put this one on this branch here, so I'm going to make that a little long so it'll reach from the top to the bottom. Now on this top branch, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the loop and pinch it. Take your time on this part. This is something that'll take you a few minutes to get used to, grabbing this wire and working with the loops, but you'll get it. Just stay with it and you will get it. You see how that's starting to make the leaves of the tree? And I'm going to go ahead and unwrap my next one here and do the same thing. See, this one we did the same exact thing as the last one. I'm going to put a little loop in each end and we're going to connect these 2 ends once again. We're going to do this 4 times all together. We have 4 main branches, so we'll have 4 groups of leaves. The more you do this, the more your fingers get used to dealing with the wire and with the pliers, and the more you'll be able to do. You'll be able to let your imagination run wild. So this one we're going to kind of put across these 3 here. I'm going to start with this middle one. I'll hook it on right there. I'm going to pinch that on there with my fingers first, and then pinch it tight with these pliers. The second one, put here. Now this third one, we're going to pinch right on. Oh, here we go. Our tree is coming together. Look at that. Nice green foliage. Alright, number 3. Have my wire ready, and you guessed it, we're going to wrap it around the handle of these pliers once again. Once again, we're going to make a loop in each end of this wire, and we're going to connect them. Be mindful of the wire. It can get sharp when you cut it. Make sure you don't cut your fingers. Alright, so this one we're going to put on the inside branch. This one right here. I'm going to kind of go toward the center of this piece of wire and connect it. Not super important where you connect it because you can always bend it a little bit and make it go where you want it to. That's not a big deal. Now I'm going to put this one into this little loop here and pinch it together. So now we have some foliage on the inside of the tree there. There we go. Now we have one more. I'm going to unwrap once again and start wrapping right around the handle of this thing. Now you're going to be getting faster at this. After the third one, this fourth one will go a little bit quicker for you. I could do this all day long. And that green and blue is pretty. Stretch this out a little bit and connect these ends. How's that? Twist this a little bit. There's no real specific way of twisting these. You just need, almost like you would see a drawing, you know, like a sketch. And we're going to attach that to this lower branch. Now look at that. We're going to give this a little shape. If you don't like how it's shaped, bend it. Yeah, I don't quite like how that one's going, so I'm going to bend it. As trees grow, the branches kind of twist. There's no one way that a tree is going to grow. So there we go. Make sure that your legs are long enough to hold the tree upright. If they aren't, you can always unwrap them a little bit, make them a little longer, make it a little more stable, a little more sturdy. And there you have it, a wire tree.
We want to thank you for joining us today for our online curriculum. ArtMix is an organization that transforms the lives of individuals with disabilities through the creation of art. Today you participated in one of our community classes. Usually these classes are in our studios and for a small fee. We sincerely hope that you'll consider making a donation to our program after watching today's classes. Please visit artmixindiana.org for more information, and we thank you for joining us.